Hi, I'm Bill DeWeese from VoiceOverRevolution.com, and welcome to another nugget of VO Weekly Wisdom. And hopefully, a little help for voiceover talent who are starting off their week. Now, last week I talked about the first half of the marketing equation, which is creating awareness. For you to move forward in your voiceover career or really any business, first of all, the people who are likely to hire you or might want or need your services have to know you exist. So last week's challenge was to find ways to consistently create awareness. So hopefully you're beginning to develop that pattern and that habit of looking for the right people and then finding creative ways and consistent ways to get yourself in front of them, to be heard. My tip for you today is simply this, and it's the second half of the marketing equation, and that is to maintain awareness. Here is a simple marketing truth. It's a life truth, and that is that most other people don't think nearly as much about you as you may think they do, or certainly not as much as you may think about yourself. Oftentimes, we are so concerned about what other people think, and the truth is, they don't think about us that much. So we spend a lot of time worrying and having anxiety over what other people are thinking when they've got their own stuff to deal with. The same thing is true in marketing. And if you want people to hire you, you do have to create the awareness that you exist and what you're capable of. That's extremely important. Without that, nothing happens. But remember this, just because you show up on somebody's radar does not mean you will stay on their radar. We as human beings we're detracted with a million different things. There are so many diversions, there are so many things vying for our attention that it is hard to not only create but to maintain awareness within the mind of someone. Because you may have created awareness, as an example, a month ago, a year ago, where you sent somebody your demo, they heard it and said, "Well, that's a great demo, we'll keep you in mind." Do you really think they remember you a year later? Sometimes, on rare occasion, sure. Most of the time, no way. Because they've got so many other priorities in their life and in their business. The idea of them remembering you or me is virtually impossible to do. We're just not that important in the grand scheme of things to them. So it's on us to make sure that they remember us. A couple of things to keep in mind. I used to teach marketing, so I'm going to try to remember as best I can, refer back to some of the information that I used to teach. And that is, and I don't remember the exact number, but I know it takes something like between 20 and 30 impressions. In other words, creating awareness 20 to 30 times with somebody before your message actually begins to sink into their consciousness. Think about commercials that you watch on TV or you hear on the radio. Rarely does it get you the first time. You may have to see it or hear it repeatedly before before you begin to create any kind of awareness of it. So, just because somebody saw you or you sent out an email or you made a phone call or sent a postcard, and maybe they even looked at it, doesn't even really mean that they paid attention or that it registered with them. So you have to consistently reach out to people. Don't ever worry about over contacting somebody. Believe me, that will rarely ever be your biggest problem, over contacting somebody. I know people who keep track of every email they send, every phone call they send, because they don't want to call that same person twice. Well, number one, that person is not going to remember you probably next year. And the other thing is, it's maybe somebody else that answers the phone, because small businesses, which most production companies are, cycle through employees. So it's nothing really to worry about. But that's creating, getting on their radar may take a lot of impressions. But once you have a client, staying on their radar, even though they know you and you've penetrated their consciousness, staying there is a big job in and of itself. And most marketing experts would say that you need to have a marketing touch. In other words, again, create awareness at least 6 times a year. Otherwise, that person, that client, that prospective client forgets you. You begin to fade from memory. So find ways this week, creative ways. And it doesn't have to be like crazy creative. It could be as simple as a phone call, an email, a postcard. There are a number of ways to simply reach out and say, "I am still here." So this week's VO Weekly Wisdom: maintain awareness and watch your VO business grow. All the best to you in your voiceover career, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.